Welcome to the very first episode of the music podcast without a name. We are currently using that name because we just haven't been able to come up with one yet. But we would be happy if you subscribe to our page so you can be the first to know when we eventually come up with one. My name is Banelisi and I am with the incredibly brilliant and beautiful Z Mazibugo. Joining us on this momentous occasion is a very talented young woman. She is a rapper, singer, songwriter, and dancer. She is way too little to be underrated, way too jiggy to be underrated. Hailing from Lusaka, Zambia, the wonderful Princess Natasha Chansa. And she goes by the title Princess because she is actually royalty. Welcome, Natasha. We are pleased to have you.
One of the head.
Now I'm happy you're happy with that introduction. Yeah, we try. So how are you, Natasha?
I can't complain, man. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
And steady pushing.
Yeah. Now, my first question for you is that you obtained the title of princess from your father, His Royal Highness Chief Kaputa. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. How was growing up in a royal household been for you?
So my dad, it's not like my whole life it's been, because someone had to pass on the title to him. So that should have been around 2010 is when he became chief.
All right.
So it didn't been like traditional, typical, the lion skin and roses when people walk.
Yeah.
I feel like so he traveled back and forth because I stay in the capital of my country, and where the chiefdom is kind of like at the border. So when he had to go and he went. He was home, he was dad, and he was, everything that I did.
Yeah.
All right. And as coming from a royal household, because you say it's only been 12 years this year, from 2010.
Yeah.
Has that impacted?
Yeah.
Has that had an impact in the way that you do your music?
It's low-key had, because I feel like the only obligation I ever really had was to put my people on, as opposed to restrictions on how I can be or the what I can say or how I can do things. There hasn't really been a restriction on that. The goal at this point is to be a representation of, where I come from, just to prove that we can all be different and we can achieve, things that we put in place.
All right, cool. That's pretty cool. Z,
Yeah, that's brilliant, hey? It's really brilliant. I feel like it also gave you room to be yourself outside of like the kingdom and royalty and everything.
Yeah.
So now, away from the family, away from the Royal Highness, before the music, who is Natasha, and what makes you be you on the ground that you stand on? What makes you wake up daily and say, I'm unbreakable?
I feel like me away from music is literally like this girl,
Same.
But I basically have always had the spirit of proving myself to myself and going against every odd that's in place and every limitation that's there. I've kind of not liked to be boxed and restricted. So I guess that spirit kind of, because I'm also like into music, I can basically coexist with that. So yeah.
And understand that recently you picked up a love for sneakers. How did that love start to grow?
I really don't know. I can't say influenced by someone. I just figured I'm gonna make something my thing, so it's gonna be Jordan ones. And then I haven't really always been like a particular sneaker head. I've always liked sneakers, yes, but like just random leaders or like superstars or just whatever. But then I just really like Jordan ones, and now it's kind of my thing. I'm obsessed. It's almost sad.
Finally, I get someone who's just like me, because normally when someone says I'm a sneakerhead, they're sneakerhead for like one particular kind of sneaker, whether it's Jordan 4s or Jordan 1s. But
Yeah.
I just like sneakers as well. So when somebody says like, I could wear your Vans to your Stan Smiths, I'm like, yeah, that's my kind of girl. And is that actually also what made you perform by the sneaker and jersey exchange?
Yeah. That is also affiliation with the hosts of the actual show. But that very
Yeah.
reason, like there was so many sneakers around. I was literally just there like this the whole time at the event. But it was vibes.
And you also shut it down. How did that go? Because I saw your videos and I was like, people really love this kid and it's amazing to watch.
Thank you very much. It's definitely always fun to,
Yeah.
sing back, to give back to the people that support you.
But you also have ice cream, like your own line of ice cream. Of all things,
Yeah,
why did you choose ice cream?
I don't I want to get into everything. So I guess ice cream was where I could start. I
Yeah.
want to get into like donuts. I want to get into bedroom posters. I want to be the idol I never had as a
Every
kid.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, makes
Uh,
I like that. I like
and
that. The idol
and
I
then,
never had as a kid.
yeah, and also as you're having your own ice cream range, it would have been cool. Also, I mean, also being a sneakerhead as well, getting into sneakers recently, it would have been cool having be part of the whole ice cream clothing line that belongs to Pharrell. But yeah, I think that's maybe a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe we could get back to it, the story for another day.
Yeah, yeah, maybe another
Maybe
day.
because you said it, we did it.
Okay, now how did a day one of the Genesis, because we are here mainly for your EP Genesis, which is a very, very cool cover, very sick cover, by the way. How has the tour been recently? Because you started your tours recently. You've been
I
on
love it.
campus. Yeah,
It's
and
amazing.
yeah,
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
yeah, and you've recently started with the tours. How has that been so far?
The energy has definitely been crazy. I feel like it's a different route from what I've normally seen happening here. So, like I said before, the goal is different and to break records and set norms. So the goal of the tour is to take the EP to people that maybe can't even access it because it's on a digital platform.
Yeah.
So the goal of the tour is also to have people experience the EP for what it should be. You know what I mean? So it's been amazing. I can't even. It's not overwhelming, but it's really nice to see people giving back the energy and appreciating art.
All right. Cool. Cool. And then, how long are your current tours going for?
I think I'm gonna be done with my local tour in October.
In October. That's
Yeah.
pretty. Yeah. That you're going to be busy this year.
Yes, busy is good.
Right? And being on tour, being on stage all the time, because you're doing great. And I've seen some of the videos you on stage, and people are just going crazy. People love you out there in Zambia. How does it make you feel putting a smile on people's faces with your music?
Like at the end of the day, that very much is the goal, is to inspire people. And like I said, it's an experience that people have to go back home with and say, hey, that kid, did something. Like even people that don't know me, once they see me, they're supposed to have something to say.
Yeah.
And if knowing that if they can be inspired, then the goal has been accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And unfortunately, we lost Z there for, I don't know what happened, but we'll just carry on. She'll join us along the way. Now, in our country, we call all 2000s babies. We call them 2Ks. Now, they are culture shifters. They are rule breakers because they literally do whatever is beneficial to them and isn't. Following to the previous question, what as a 2K yourself, what made you go into the music industry at such a young age and still be able to do what you do?
I guess it's the influence of the music I used to listen to, the people I watched on TV.
Yeah.
I grew up on Hannah. So you expect me to kind of want to be a pop star one day.
Yeah.
So that being said, I knew I could sing at a really young age, and then I knew I could write music as well. So I figured I could get into this with, my 10 toes.
All right. And I mean, the change in, do you notice any kind of change in the way that people look at you recently from before Genesis up to now? Has there been any kind of change in the way that people see you, view you, or even just walking down the streets? Do people recognize who you are?
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming when you're socially awkward, but I guess that is that's as a result of the work that's being put in. It's like my manager says, it means that the word is getting out.
Yeah.
So I can only when people actually show you that they like you and they show you that they know you. Yeah, so definitely giving good energy back. There has been a huge shift from before I released my EP till now. I almost can't even just like buy tomatoes. I had to tell my mom, like, I'll flip the roof if you want me to, just don't send me to buy tomatoes.
Not I'll paint the roof.
And
like,
you,
I'll be in the yard, but just don't send me to buy tomatoes. Because I was walking once, and like in my neighborhood, in my clothes, I was picking up a delivery guy. Yeah. So then this kid, and then the kid looks like they looking at me, and I can tell, like, okay, they probably have an idea. So then the girl, I'm close to them, so she's like, it looks like Natasha Chansa, but it's not her. And I'm like, yo.
And the crazy thing is, from listening to your music, how you do it, I mean, Genesis is just an incredible EP. You're vocally gifted, you're lyrically gifted, and from what we are hearing, and we've been talking about this with Z, that from what we are hearing, you're going to make much bigger than in Zambia. Zambia won't be able to carry the talent that you have. So you're just going to go international. So what you're seeing now is basically nothing. You're still going to see you're still going to see a lot of that love in the streets. Now you are currently signed to Z Records, and with all the noise in the entire world about how savage, or for a lack of a better word, now that record labels are, what made you still decide to sign and not be independent? And do you have any thoughts of branching out and taking that route in the near future?
Okay, so I'm just gonna break down, just briefly explain to you the current industry situation right now. So there's like 2 power labels in my country right now. There's a few indie labels here and there. So Z Arts was an initiative made by myself and my best friend. Okay. So we work together hand in hand, and we're very transparent with how we work. So it's almost like we're independent together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'd rather have it that way than have. I don't know how to explain it further than that, but I'd rather have it that way. So I'm basically independent with my team.
All right, that's awesome, and I think
it makes much sense, actually.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Z, you've been away for a bit. Do you have anything to ask?
I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Connectivity, I couldn't control that right now. I just wanted to find out, going back to what Manelisa said about you being like a musical genius and the artist that you are. When making your music, where do you draw your inspiration from?
Okay, most of it is from my experience. Most of it is from influence, also other people's experiences. So because of the music I've grown up listening to, I definitely have a kind of way that I want to make music, because I want the music to hit. I want to make music that will hit people the way that music hits me. I'll give an example. I heard Big Girls Cry by Sia. I should have been like 15 or 14, but it was so listened to, and from that day I knew if I had to make music, I needed music to make an impact like this, regardless of what I'm speaking about. So right now, my narrative was being young and working towards a goal and not being like everybody else. And I made sure that I needed to get my message across, for the masses to understand and grasp. So it's different things that I draw inspiration from and ways that I make music.
And talking about inspiration, late last year you released Genesis. What inspired that EP?
I had been wanting to release the Genesis EP since 2017. So you can imagine how long it's been.
Yeah.
I just knew that if I had to create a body of work, I needed it to embody everything that I stand for. And I knew that because it's only the beginning for me, I needed it to be the Genesis. Despite it being a very different
start. Amazing.
Yeah. Despite it, like, I was 17 and then I was like 20 last year, and then I needed to release my EP, but it still needed to be the beginning,
Yeah.
So
with that EP still a topic right now, we'll put you on the spot. What is your favorite track on it and why?
My favorite track, that's a very hard question to answer. But I really like a song that's titled Nenzelele on the EP. It's a rendition of an old song sung by a female musician in my country. So basically what I did was I needed to honor that fact, the fact that there's someone I inspiration from that's a female musician. And I renditioned, like, I got a part of her chorus, and then I made it different because the genre of the old song is more old, and then I needed to switch it up and make it more modern. So that, I feel like the genius behind that, one of my favorite things about it, the message in the song, and also just the vocal range in the song. I really like it.
And
I did say that I'm putting you on the spot there, but it's a beautiful song. I like it. I really do.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't know what the words mean because it's my vernacular here.
No,
that's the one beautiful thing about music. It transcends, man. Like, even if you don't understand the language, it hits in places that you can't even describe, and that's what I like about it.
Thank you. Natasha. Just give me a second, man.
Okay.
Just one.
Oh, is that your little sister?
No, it's my.
That side eye.
Yeah.
All right. All right. And then you're tipped as one of Africa's brightest young and upcoming rappers and singers. Still keeping in Africa, who is that one other amazing artist you'd really like to collaborate with?
Off the top of my head, Nasty C.
Nasty C. And he is one of the one of the best lyricists we have in the country, maybe even in the continent. Why Nasty C?
Because I wasn't like a huge Nasty stan. I feel like I caught onto the wave pretty late when everybody was talking about him, but I related to his narrative, how young he was and how he was able to break records that were set, and how he had like so many haters. Not that haters is something I want, but you're kind of making people uncomfortable when they start to feel like you're doing more than they expected you to do. So I don't even need to go there. Mans is like, he's crazy with what he does. He's super talented, and I'd really just like to sit in a room with him, like even trap him if I have to, and working on something.
I could hear the two of you guys on a track, so I understand why you say Nasty. I feel like it could work, like it could do amazing.
Yeah.
Besides the numbers, I feel like people relate to the music itself.
Yeah.
And while we're still on collabs, I see that you've worked with Cleo Ice Queen quite a few times. How did you guys work together from the first song that you made? What made that relationship come about, and what have you done to solidify it and get it where it's at right now?
Cleo is like one of the. She's the first hip hop female act in my country to have like a hip hop album. So for me,
Nice.
as an upcoming rapper, I'm definitely, inspired by what she did and how she broke a certain record. And the first time we worked together was on my song, and I wanted it to be like an all-female rap song. So I reached out to her team. My manager reached out to her team, and we were able to get the vocal. Though they were late, but they came in and they were fire. And we never really had a relationship after, despite having a song together. Crazy, because you'd think that people know each other with
Yeah.
it, but we only got to really bond sometime last year. And that, keep in mind, I made that song in like 2018. So we
Yeah.
only got together last year, and ever since it's just been like, she's like been the industry big sister I never really had.
It's amazing when you guys make like magic. I've listened to quite a few songs, and the way you guys gel, it's like you've been working together for such a long time that now everything comes naturally. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And also, just sticking to the collaboration part. Now, a lot of artists today, they only just record verses and send it to each other wherever they are.
Yeah.
For you guys, for you in particular, what do you prefer? Do you prefer being in studio with guys you're collaborating with, or is it just fine for you to record wherever you are and send in your vocals?
I feel like for me, it depends. It sometimes depends on the type of song and the energy that's needed around the song or even the artist. Most times when I've worked on my projects, I've had artists come into studio and me being in the room with them and explaining, and then we get it done. But I really don't mind the whole sending vocals thing. I think it's pretty fast. I do that sometimes too, and most of the times, because I
Yeah.
record both, and I just like to be in my own creative space. But whatever really works, there's no preference. But yeah, whatever gets the job done.
All right,
I go
and
with that.
yeah, yeah. And what's so far has been the biggest lesson for you as a musician?
The biggest lesson, I haven't really thought about that one. I just mistakes, I can find a lesson. I just know that be careful with what you say, because your words have so much more power than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That for me right now is in this space. I mean, it's probably gonna change a few years or months from now, but the words that
Yeah.
you say
Yeah.
really, so be very cautious, because at
Yeah, man.
the end
Because
of
it's true though, because your words do follow you.
at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's back to, I was raised in a Christian home, so I still very much have, that background of knowing that I'm a God. So when I speak life, and I'm not just gonna say anything that, won't do anything.
All right.
Yeah, I
And
see. And besides the both of us loving hip hop, because I really feel like we're here right now because we both love hip hop, I
Mhm,
see myself in you with how you see God in everything. And it goes back to what you just said about being raised in a Christian home. What is
mhm.
that one thing that you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for my upbringing. Yeah, I'm
mm,
definitely grateful for the type of home I grew up in and the people that I had around me, because it allows for me to stay true to who I am today. And that allows for me to be humble too, because you have to be really humble to be used or to be great, you know.
True,
So
true.
that's what I'm grateful for the most. Everything I was taught till this point, every hardship, every struggle, every heartbreak,
yeah.
Mm.
it it was a win in disguise.
Yeah,
All right.
true here, because
Good.
everything does happen for a reason. I
Yeah.
like how you said
Yeah.
you're grateful for upbringing because it really does certainly shape all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, unfortunately, we are almost out of time. But I think we can maybe squeeze in one or two more questions. Now, the year has just begun. We're only in the third month of the year. what other plans do you have besides touring? What other plans do you have for this year? And what can we expect from you?
This year, I'm working towards more international collaborations because the domestic growth is there already.
Yeah.
So to reach more borders, more people. I want to see what's on the ground, and more wins, more listeners, more hearts.
And I feel like, I mean, we've said this
Definitely
already,
going to
but
get those wins.
yeah, because we, as we've already said this, we feel like you've got everything that you need to make it big this year. And wherever you go, I think you're just going to have an impact. You're going to have a positive impact. Maybe one last thing from me. I don't know, Zeke, do you have anything else you want to ask?
Right now, I currently don't. I feel like the way she gave that answer, too, just grateful for kind of thinking, and I just appreciate that answer right now.
All right,
I feel like Z, she's my best friend right now, but she just doesn't know how.
It's just that connection.
Yeah, that's that hack.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Natasha, any last words, anything that you'd like to say?
Just want to say thank you to you for being such wonderful hosts. It's been a minute having a proper conversation like this, but fun, and hope to be back here again even.
Yeah, we hope to have you back soon.
Definitely, man. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Yeah.
And we hope to have you in the country as well.
Yeah. I feel like the next time we meet should be in person.
Yeah, definitely should be. How can people get in touch with you on social media, anywhere?
Okay, so I go by the name Princess Natasha Chansa, and I go by that name on all my socials. On YouTube, it's Natasha Chansa. Instagram, Princess Natasha Chansa. Facebook is the same, and Twitter is just Tasha Chansa.
All right. Right. Cool. Z, any last words?
Everyone will be able to reach you.
Sorry, I didn't get that last part.
I was saying, I love the simplicity, not having to names for every platform you're on, because it makes it difficult for fans to try catch up, try and reach you. So you having it just as a chance, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Natasha.
And my last words is I'm grateful for giving us your time, and I really hope that you do great. The next time we speak, it definitely has to be in person, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is the music podcast without a name. Still trying to figure out a name for ourselves. So yeah, thank you very much, Natasha. And please remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember to like, remember to share, remember to comment, just do everything just to grow the channel. So you'll be the first to have some of these exclusive interviews, talk to guys that you haven't heard of yet, and so guys that you're curious to hear about. And also you'll be the first to know when we do eventually have a name. So yeah, thank you very much. This is the Music Podcast Without a Name. Until next time, peace.